match on day 4 of the Hero Junior World Cup Pool D encounter between South Africa and New Zealand. It's a virtual shootout because this is, for all practical purposes, a pre-quarter-final of sorts. And that has happened because Malaysia have just beaten England and confirmed their place at the top of the table. That leaves South Africa on 3, New Zealand on 1 point. So whoever wins this match, South Africa can afford to draw, but they won't be looking at that possibility. They'll be looking for an outright win to make their way across to the quarter-final. It's been a lot of excitement, a lot of enthusiasm about this Hero Junior Hockey World Cup. Families, friends of the players traveling over, making this lovely trip across to Delhi in this wonderful time of the year in December. As the teams walk out, the black sticks in all black, and no shortage of support for South Africa either, who will be in their yellow and distinctively green jerseys. There's been a lot of emotion swirling around for the South Africans in recent times, and they'll be looking to channel that today for a masterclass performance. But let's start by, first of all, for the national anthems of the two teams, beginning with the home side for this fixture, South Africa. Scratched out one of the possibilities in this Pool D. It has stopped us from scurrying for calculators just as yet. But I can inform our viewers that should South Africa win this particular match by an exact margin of 3-1, then New Zealand and England will wind up with exactly the same number of points, exactly the same goal difference, exactly the same number of goals scored. And that will effectively mean that they'll have to come over tomorrow for a shootout to decide who finishes third and who finishes fourth in this particular pool. Well, let's get down to business. South Africa, some names of theirs to watch out for. Of course, we have Matthew Brown, who's their penalty corner specialist. Number 3, quite a useful player. Number 6, Andrew Manson, is also an attacking midfield player. Daniel Bell can also hit those penalty corners quite usefully. And we saw Chad Cairncross come up with an impressive performance in yesterday's match against Malaysia. Darren Gallagher, 36 years of age, part of the 2008 Olympic team with the South Africans, is their coach. And they will be looking to put in a big performance in a week that has been swept with emotion for all South Africans, irrespective of their particular profession. The Black Sticks for this particular match: 3 goals for Kane Russell, number 14, their penalty corner specialist. He's been the driving force for their team. And Sanjay Lala has been quite impressive as well in the heart of defense. They are coached by this man, Grant Edwards, former assistant coach of both New Zealand as well as Wales, and had 4-year spell with the Canterbury Cavaliers. The 2 umpires for today: Mike Gerwig from Germany and Haider Rasool from Pakistan. And Bruce Bale of England has had a few games as video umpire in this Hero Junior World Cup and will be doing the duties once again. It's New Zealand to get things moving, all in black, going from left to right, and South Africa are in green and yellow from right to left. And it's a good time for me to welcome to the commentary box former 2-time Indian coach Cedric D'Souza.
Well, Divine, you know, today's game is critical for both teams, and from the way things are, I think we're going to have humdinger today.
Absolutely. What is good is while South Africa can get away with a draw, but they will know, going by the trends of this competition, that a draw will just not be enough, or rather playing for a draw will just not be enough. So we can expect some positive hockey from both teams, and they've anyway served up some really entertaining hockey thus far in this competition. South Africa beating England 2-1 in their first match, then going down to Malaysia by that same scoreline, 2-1. Remember, they had a penalty stroke taken by Matthew Brown, which was outstandingly saved by the Malaysian goalkeeper Hafizuddin Othman. And New Zealand, in contrast, another 2 very exciting games. Lost 2-3 to Malaysia in what was a nail-biting encounter. And speaking of nail-biters, the match against England yesterday, woo, that was something else, wasn't it, Cedric?
Well, you know, if you look at New Zealand, they never say die. They keep at you, they plug at you, they run hard, they're strong on the ball, you know, and they never say die. They keep at it, you know, they keep at it to the final whistle, and they got their equalizer against England in the last couple of minutes.
Perhaps the only source of worry, just not being able to find those field goals. In fact, that was the only field goal that they've scored thus far in this entire competition. Number 10, Matt Rees-Gibbs got that one. This time unable to control that particular ball was the captain, Prefier.
A fantastic pass across the whole park from the left to the right. Unfortunately, not tracked well enough on the flank.
This move was beautifully begun yet again by Cairncross, and the man at the receiving end was Andrew Manson, heading a long corner.
Well, you know, it was a great shadow tackling by Kane Russell, and he kept his stick down, protected his feet, and played the ball out for a long corner.
He has been the hero, hasn't he? Kane Russell, outstanding presence in defense, but more than that, his valuable inputs as a penalty corner specialist, his drag flicks. 3 goals already, 2 which came against the Malaysians in the opening encounter. On a couple of occasions drew level. As you mentioned, the right phrase, never say die, but they will have some defending to do here. South Africa look to move forward. Back with Kiwi possession though.
Well, Divine, you know that both teams play a similar kind of style. It's hard running, they're both physically very fit, and they're very physical in their approach.
You will notice those black armbands still on the South African players in remembrance of their beloved Madiba. That's a long ball, and it's been well received. It's a one-on-one almost with the goalkeeper. This is a testing one for him. He has some defenders supporting. Oh, how did he miss out on that? We have been talking so well about him, and Chad Cairncross has missed where scoring would have been easier.
Well, a great cross ball from the top of from the baseline. Basically, goalkeeper came out to close out the angle, but across the whole mouth of the goal, with nothing else to do but tap the ball in, and he fluffed it.
Must have taken some time for him to sink in that he was literally left free with an open goal. South Africa really should have been one goal ahead by now. Still fighting for it though. Moving forward, this is Keenan Horn. Still have possession though in an attacking position. A good bright start by the South Africans. Moving into the D yet again. That was something, wasn't it, Cedric?
Well, you know, Andrew Mason did a fantastic job by playing that ball across, and was the easiest of tip-ins into the goal by Kim Lee, who made a mess of it. I think it was Horn, sorry.
No, you're right. There's a few who look very identical. Kim Lee is one of them. I identified him initially as Cairncross. Three players of similar build, similar pace, and most importantly, similar skill. But I suppose Kim Lee was perhaps evident, not quite able to finish off. Not a natural forward, and that showed up in that particular maneuver. But that will make South Africa quite pleased. What's happening in these early moments, Cedric? They seem to be splitting this defense open quite a bit.
Well, you know, New Zealand has this.
Once again, it's Kim Lee. This is a good pass. Matt Mason has a chance. Manson, beg your pardon, and he has won a penalty corner for his team.
Well, he was provider the last time, and this time he was the person who scored himself. A great pass to him. He gets the ball in the penalty spot, sees the keeper coming out, but flicks the ball towards the goal and hits the New Zealand foot, and a penalty corner for South Africa.
This is a strength for both these teams, so these moments could be pivotal in today's game. Expect the lights of Matthew Brown, Grant Glutz, as well as Daniel Bell to move up for this. There they are. Matthew Brown on the left of screen, Daniel Bell to his right. Who is it going to be? What's it going to be, Cedric? Who do you think?
Well, I think it's the first battery, the first castle. Maybe wrong, but I think the first castle.
So all odds here on Brown to go for the shot. Whether he converts or not, we'll have to wait and watch. Didn't trap it clean, but still have possession. New Zealand must deal with this defensive ball, and they do so quite effectively.
You asked me a question some time ago about South Africa being happy the way they started this proceedings. New Zealand in the past have also given a lot of opportunity to the oppositions by not stepping down very quickly, and this is exactly what's happened in this game too. South Africa, on the other hand, has started got off the blocks with all gusto and tempo, and they have been able to crack the New Zealand defense completely open, basically because they've been a little more committed, if you ask me, in their approach.
Indeed, it's coming to that stage in the tournament where all teams have had a minimum of 2 games. And by this stage, they should settle in. They should start playing their best hockey. We've seen evidence of that earlier in the day. Australia and Malaysia certainly impressing with their performances. Not quite playing at 100% perhaps, but making the most of every chance that came their way. And I know it's the Hero Junior World Cup, so excuse the pun, but this is the time to separate the men from the boys, isn't it?
You know, they're probably just men under 21, the 21-year-olds. But I think you're right in terms of separating the wheat from the chaff also, in terms of which is the best players in the side and who can deliver the goods for his team.
This is a better phase of play from the New Zealanders, just putting some pressure of their own. Kane Russell sweeping this one in. It's intercepted just at the top of the box. And an infringement.
There was no movement by the New Zealand attacker, so Kane Russell's ball to the top of the circle was of no consequence because it was easily picked up by the South African defence. You've got to move that defence before you get that long ball, fire the long ball inside.
Mohammad Mia looked very good in yesterday's match against Malaysia. It should be underscored that while Malaysia did win 2-1, it was a very close encounter. And South Africa certainly had their moments. At the present moment, a little bit of explaining to do for Mike Gervig. This has been nicely picked up. Could this prove to be dangerous? Kim Kingston with a rare start in today's match. I should correct myself, a rare entry early into the game. Making his presence felt on the right wing for New Zealand, but they're just not getting enough of possession. Maybe this will be their moment. Moving forward. Matt Rees-Gibbs, man who got the equalizer against England, but he's given the ball away on this occasion. Here comes South Africa. Again, it is those three men moving forward, joined this time by Ignatius Malgraf, who also showed a lot of good work rate yesterday. The number 15 for South Africa. This is a long ball and it nearly found its mark. Just needed to trap it and that could have been trouble.
A great pass from Sanjay Vara. Great pass of Sanjay Vara all the way down through. On the other end, there is a penalty corner for New Zealand.
This is what sustained pressure can do. The South Africans are not happy about the call. But are they refereeing it yet? No, they're not. This is exactly what happened here, sir.
There's a clean. No, there's no argument with penalty corner. It's just a foot in the circle. Oh, they could have been pulled up for shielding the ball and not allowing the South African player to tackle, but it wasn't. They haven't referred it, so a penalty corner for New Zealand.
Well, this is the time for the big man to come into play. Kane Russell is right in the mix, number 14. Here goes Russell, and he just misses his mark. Those early warning signs are visible for the South African defence. They need to be good, and there was some nifty footwork there to get out of the way. South Africa almost immediately. Oh, that's a lovely pass, and the goalkeeper came out early. That's what created just a little bit of doubt in the mind of the advancing South African.
Well, a nice ball deep into the South African circle, but I'll come back to that. Penalty corner was a nice penalty corner by Kane Russell. The question was, it deflected off the first charger and went just outside the first bar. You know, you see a lot of these first chargers are doing a marvelous job for the teams today. Some of them come with two-man chargers. Some teams come with a one-man charger, but the charger keeps the stick between his legs and blocks that, doesn't allow the ball to go through, which is really nice. You know, it's daredevil stuff basically what they're doing.
Yes, and the trend was really set by the Netherlands team, especially against Korea, knowing that Korea had that potency with the penalty corners, came out of their charge and did exceedingly well. Germany have also been impressive, and like you mentioned, all the teams today have been quite good at defending against penalty corners. We haven't seen too many goals as a result, but we are doing quite all right in terms of overall goal tally. 92 goals from 19 matches before this, close to 5 goals a game. Will we see goal number 100 tonight? I would think not, because this might be a tight game.
Well, you know, both teams are going to be going to secure the defense as much as possible, and I think there'll be just a goal or two which will separate these teams. The important thing is that they're fighting with all to try and win this match.
South African possession with all the Kiwis in their own half. looking to defend this as stoutly as possible. Looking for a solo run and getting a free hit his own way was Ross Hetton. Just couldn't retain control of that particular ball.
You know, the first touch was most important, and he didn't get the first touch properly. And after he trapped the ball spun away from him and was easily picked up by the New Zealand defence.
Action almost immediately at the other end, and this is a good pace which has been set in these early moments. 15 minutes, no goals as yet. Plenty of commitment, plenty of speed available for both teams to work with. Plenty of admonishment going on because of the over-enthusiasm of some of the players. But still with New Zealand possession. Russell releases his teammate to the right. Sent in by Sibbald. Captain Krefia making things as difficult as possible. With the defensive player there, Adrian Abrahams. Intriguing first 15 or 16 minutes, Cedric, because South Africa started a little brighter, but now New Zealand beginning to dictate the pace a bit more.
Well, you know, this is the same kind of system what New Zealand did in the first matches that they played. Exactly the same thing. They don't start off well, but then they settle down and get into their groove. What I saw in the last move by New Zealand was a lovely switch from the right to the left and vice versa. And a cross ball into the circle, but was trapped by the South Africans. But that's what is going to open up South African defense, is switching and then the long hits inside.
Player rotation also a key factor. That's why 3 players, 2 of them immediately joining the action. Ben Radovonic, as well as number 16, Michael Ritchie. Jared Panchea and Kim Kingston still waiting for their chance to get in. However, this is a chance for South Africa to get into the Kiwi defence, but there's a mistake as they try to pick up the ball. Must eliminate those unforced errors in a game like this.
Well, the first thing they got to do is make sure that they win the 1 versus 1s. Once you win the 1 versus 1s, you won't make the same mistakes like easy turnovers. The important thing is not to give the turnovers and to be strong in terms of possession, especially in the enemy 25, enemy 50.
This is New Zealand moving forward. Slapped through, but not with any conviction. Just need to get a little bit more organization. Nick Elder, a man who does keep the midfield together. Lots of experienced players for the South African coach Darren Gallagher to call upon. And it's a steady part of an improvement curve for this team. Finished 13th in the 2005 edition in Rotterdam, finished 15th after beating England in a shootout in 2009. And this time, of course, hoping to be amongst the top 8, and who knows, maybe try and go all the way into the top 4 as well. Quick reminder, the team which wins here will finish 2nd in Pool D and will go on to play the topper of Pool C, which in all likelihood is likely to be Netherlands. Oh, this is well stolen. Timely touch coming in, but just a little bit too much of a heavy ball for the man going forward, Grant Klutz, but it was a beautiful first touch from Malgraf.
Well, this is what great hockey is all about, very competitive defense. A nice long aerial ball coming inside. Lara was completely beaten by the first touch of the South African, and he played a through ball inside, but unfortunately the goal was a bit too long.
Some good attacking options coming through for South Africa. Once again, looking for them. Grant Klutz is a big presence up forward for them. In many respects, the target man. The one expected to bulldoze his way through the defense of the Kiwis. It must be said, New Zealand, even though they have had mixed results in their first two games, they've defended quite stoutly.
Basic thing about the New Zealand team is they got a fantastic running capacity. They're strong, and so if you delay in your shot at goal or delay in your approach or your build up into the circle, they're going to be at you, and they're going to be strong in their tackles.
Very even match thus far. I'm pretty sure there won't be too much in it in terms of these statistics between the teams. Look at that possession percentage, almost identical. South Africa with a few more circle penetrations, but nothing really constructive, which is why there's been only one shot on goal. And of course, had Damien Kimfleet found his scoring stick, then South Africa should really have been one goal ahead at this stage. But if wishes were horses, then I suppose we wouldn't be sitting here commentating. That's just a joke. It's a lovely job this. Really thoroughly enjoying ourselves at this Hero Junior World Cup. Wouldn't wish to be anywhere else, I would.
Definitely not. Definitely not. You know, I think the next best thing would be coaching. But sitting here at the top, watching the games, giving your comments on the games that are going on, and viewing top-class hockey with under 21s. Is the best position to be in.
Yes, some of the future superstars, and one day we can look back and say that, well, we spotted them the first time that December evening in Delhi. At the moment, both these teams looking for that inspiration. It's a long ball, it was received, but just got trapped in his legs as well. Ross Gonsalves.
Well, these long balls, you know, which are coming from the defense up into the midfield or into the opposition's 25. If there's just one of the players who makes a dummy or a decoy and the ball can go through him, or if there can be a one-touch deflection, it can open up any defense, you know, because the ball deviates from its normal path, and it can open up anything that is there.
Now this time, New Zealand moving forward. Just looking at the organisation, though, Cedric, it does appear that New Zealand at times are getting a bit caught out. There's a big gap between their forward line and those in the defense, which is opening up a lot of space for the South Africans to exploit.
I think that the second thing is that the South Africans are much faster today than the New Zealand players. Much faster. The ball speed is traveling, I think, almost 50 or 60% harder and stronger than the New Zealand players. So that creates a lot of problem for New Zealand, because the ball speed is probably one of the most important aspects of the game, which creates panic for the defense and also does not allow the defense to regroup and settle down.
This will be a good time for either of these two teams to score with just about 13 minutes left in this first half. South Africa definitely looking the brighter of the two sides at the moment, as explained also by Cedric. The pace here of the two look like they are a little bit more motivated just at the moment, but as we've mentioned also, New Zealand do take their time to get into the game. So not over by any means. Mohamed Mea was looking for an on-rushing mark for him. This is Corey. He's done well. Getting through a maze of legs and winning a penalty corner for his team. Well done. And that will bring Matthew Brown into the picture yet again. But New Zealand seem like they have just asked if this was right or not. Well, it's a green card for Sanjay Lala.
I think he was given the green card because he was quite vociferous with the umpire, but it was a clean tackle, a clean stick check. And when the stick check happens, you look at it there, he's stick checking and sweeping his stick on the South African's foot. That's a clean penalty corner. Very unusual for Lala because he's such a fantastic player.
Absolutely, he's got some good discipline about himself. That's what he's shown thus far in this Hero Junior World Cup. So a lapse from him, but will Matthew Brown make them pay for it? This is Mohamed Mea. He'll be the one stopping this injection coming in. Normally done by the skipper, Dylan Swanpoel. Brown in the foreground, and just behind him, it's Grant Klutz. Will be the skipper, 20-year-old Dylan Swanpole. Got the winner against England. Oh, that wasn't too far away. And just about deflected away by Ben Smith.
A great save by Ben Smith because he stood his ground. He didn't dive. He just stood his ground and moved his hand over his shoulder and deflected the ball over the bar. He's short, but you know he's quick. A nice flick, a nice whipping action, and a great save by Ben Smith.
As we just saw, like all good goalkeepers, has a good voice on him. You need that to organize your defense in front.
But communication is one of the very important points of the goalkeeper. He can see the entire game going on, and he can see where the players are running and plugging the gaps. So you'll have to have a strong, powerful voice like most goalkeepers do.
Incredible goalkeeping already been witnessed in this Hero Junior World Cup. Arnaud Flamand of Belgium, one name which comes to mind. Spain's Fernandez Garin was also quite impressive. Andrew Butterini, younger brother of Matthew Butterini, outstanding for Australia. All in the gene pool, it seems. Of course, Matthew Butterini, not a goalkeeper.
A lovely steal by New Zealand.
And it's that man, Kane Russell. Good bustling run from him. Oh, he slipped this one through, and the keeper had to come out, and he elected well.
When he came out in the nick of time, and Curtis Richard came out at the right time and smothered the angle, and the ball just trickled over the sideline, the baseline, sorry. A great run by Kane Russell, and a great through pass also for his teammate Richie Michael, but of course the ball just went out of his reach and out of the baseline.
It's a rare kind of a comfort to have for the South African team. They have two outstanding goalkeepers. We were just on the topic of good goalkeepers. They have Richard Curtis under the bar today, and in the previous match René de la Pere was so good, in spite of the fact that Curtis was outstanding in the first game against England. So with two great goalkeepers, Darren Gallagher has the option of actually rotating them and keeping them fresh. No goals yet in this crucial Pool D encounter. This scoreline will suit South Africa just fine. It's New Zealand who really do need to win this match to move ahead and get into medal contention in this Hero Junior World Cup.
A lot of these teams are employing this long hit from the defense, especially across the whole field. It seems to be paying dividends in quite a few teams. You know, this long hit, especially because both teams are playing on one side of the pitch. So the long hit comes through towards the help side, towards the side which is not where the ball is.
This time there's some superb individual skill which is helping them get through, and it's a penalty corner. Mistake coming in from Hazlitt, in the opinion of the umpire, just sending it out on purpose.
Well, any deliberate infringement in the circle in terms of putting the ball out would be a penalty corner. And here you see it's going through, and I think it was Andrew Mason, if I'm not mistaken, who took the ball out deliberately, and a penalty corner.
So this will be another tester for this Kiwi defence. I think this Hazlitt will join his fellow defenders, and of course the goalkeeper as well. Thankless job for Ben Smith tonight, because he's up against a very, very good penalty corner battery. Matthew Brown once again marking his run-up, so to speak. This time he's on the left of screen from where you're watching, and the man closer to it is Daniel Bell, who was also practicing his PCs just before the game began. Those pads and gloves could be called into action. It's a variation, and it was a clever attempt, but in the end a great save effected by the last man in the defence, Oliver McIntyre.
But I think what happened was it took too much time. And the execution was took too much time and far too long in terms of the execution. The important thing was that the dodge was very nice, the U-turn was very nice, but when the U-turn is taken, immediately the ball has to be flicked, immediately after the ball is flicked. He took his time, and that's where the first charger came out and blocked up the ball.
Yes, no shortage of chances in this first half, but still no goals yet. And it must be said, South Africa looking quite potent when moving forward, having perhaps the better of this first half thus far. Will they go on to repent that open goal which was missed by this man? Only time will tell. Kimfley this time cannot go and find an opening. And this was that penalty corner we were just talking about.
Well, if you look at it, it's a lovely U-turn. And see the amount of time he takes to flick that ball. Far too much time. And in spite of that, he still gets a shot at goal. If it was much faster, the defense wouldn't have had time to settle down and to actually deflect that ball over the bar.
Done effortlessly almost by McIntyre, but as you correctly pointed out, just far too long before Daniel Bell could get the shot going. And had to do very well because Andrew Manson was just around the corner, just as Kimfley was around the corner this time. That's why the timely intervention by Ben Smith. The Malaysians have been outstanding in this competition. Their coach Mohammad Danraj very, very honest in admitting that he didn't expect them to actually win all 3 matches, but well, this is the big time, boys, and from here on in you've got to make your presence felt. You've already done that, but really will want to carry on that winning momentum.
Well, it's what you call humility in victory.
And no off days for them. Back on the training ground tomorrow, so they are on a mission. And they will not rest till they have got what they wanted. At least this will ensure that they will finish among the top 8, and that in itself is quite a magnificent achievement. Mind you, they can go much, much better, especially considering how they've played thus far. So this first half just petering out a little bit in terms of the chances to be created. South Africa having the better of the chances, but New Zealand need to settle into this game. Remember, they're the ones who need 3 points from this match to qualify further. And there is that outside possibility. 3-1 scoreline to South Africa will force New Zealand and England to come out for a shootout to decide who finishes third.
So far, the band it looks like just a midfield battle. Both teams trying to get territorial advantage in the midfield and transfer that into circle penetrations. But it's still a very midfield battle going on out there.
It's a yellow card for Sanjay Lala, who's having an uncharacteristically indisciplined day at the moment.
But the ball rose and he put a stick up over his shoulder and tried to deflect that ball down and control that ball down, and it was a yellow card.
Just not able to keep the kind of discipline that they have retained through most of their matches in the past. And they must gather their wits together, New Zealand. A few anxious moments already. Given away a few penalty corners, haven't been punished for it yet, but they could come, knowing the ability of the man who was just on the ball, Matthew Brown. And he finds another man, Daniel Bell, who's also quite lethal with his penalty corners. Here's Brown. Was looking to release Keenan Horn. Confirmation of the little suspension in the sin bin for Sanjay Lala, and this is how it happened. The high ball that Cedric was talking about.
But an aerial ball from deep in the defense of South Africa, coming in for a South African player, but Lara marking the man, lifts the stick up over his shoulders, and a yellow card resulted in that.
Here's a possible opening for New Zealand moving forward, coming off a South African foot. Initially, Heather Rasul just playing advantage, but now allowing New Zealand to move ahead. This could be an opportunity. Oh, well closed down by the defender, getting his body in the way. Some courageous work from the captain, Dylan Swanpole. Still not cleared, and eventually that is just deflected away. Kingston was the man. Swanpole denying Van Bokum, who's been quite an attacking threat when moving forward. The number 17 for New Zealand.
Well, you know, the ball deflects off South African player, comes on to it deflected off the captain itself, you know, and he did well to get back in defense and throw a stick down and get that ball on a stick, basically. Put his body on line.
So it's been courageous, but it's not been productive thus far, this first half. And we're coming pretty much towards the last minute of it. And he won't be too displeased with what's happened thus far. His team have had the better opportunities, though. Really should have scored that one particular chance, which fell quite freely for Damien Kimpley. Mark Fourie looks to release Kane Cross. Kimpley can't quite get across to the ball. This is Kane Russell making a run right through the middle of the pitch. Onto the left flank for Van Bokum. Ritchie dispossessed by Brown. Could well be the last productive move of this first half. South Africa looking to utilize that right flank, which they've done quite effectively right through this first half. Manson getting a penalty corner in this situation will be useful for his team. It's a good solo run, but eventually running out of yardage, and New Zealand should see this off to safety. Even Stevens at the end of the first 35 minutes, an engrossing first 35 minutes at the Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium. But South Africa with the better of the opportunities, and in particular one which fell for Damien Kimpley, where he was pretty much free on goal with the goalkeeper moved away from the action, but just couldn't bring the ball under control, and that's why there have still not been any goals as yet on the night. New Zealand with a few bright moments, but none sufficient enough to bother the opposition. So South Africa, who will go through with just a draw, are quite comfortably placed at the moment. It's New Zealand who have to do all the running in this match and come back into it as a contest, because it's still goalless at the moment at the National Stadium. Half-time scoreline, South Africa 0, New Zealand 0.
I'll take your cue with the names. I won't look at this. I'll just take the cue with the names.
Yeah. See, also these are the surnames. So you can say just Russell. You want to do all foods? Let's do all foods because there's D anyway. Yeah. And this is D, so this can come last. It's emptying out. Last game, there's fewer people than there were in the first game. This area will still have some people, but
Nobody's
general stands is good.
Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Put up an attendance graphic because I think it's about 17 people. This is probably the first time there are fewer people for the last match than for the first of the day.
No goals as yet in this Pool D encounter between South Africa and New Zealand. The scoreline will suit South Africa fine, but New Zealand must win today to advance to the quarterfinals of the Hero Junior World Cup. But it wasn't the first half that was devoid of action at all. This was the best chance of the lot. Andrew Manson doing well along the right flank, drawing out Ben Smith and then slipping this one through. And how did Damien Kimfley miss that? If they do go on to lose and if they get knocked out of contention for the quarterfinals, then he'll think back at that moment. This was a sweeping drive struck very nicely by Matthew Brown, but well saved by Ben Smith. New Zealand had their moments as well. Kane Russell with an outstanding solo run and slipped it through quite nicely too. Could have been quite dangerous. Richie was looking to get onto the ball, but outstanding goalkeeping from Richard Curtis. Then yet another penalty corner on which South Africa tried a variation. Shot came in eventually from Daniel Bell. There was a save just in front of goal by the man standing by the post. So the statistics are suggesting that thus far there's not been too much of action. South Africa with a greater share of the possession, a couple of cards and only 4 penalty corners, none of which have been converted, which is why there are no goals as yet. Remember, you can connect with us on Facebook as well as Twitter, because this is how it stands. So do let us know what you think about the Hero Junior World Cup. 3 spots still open in that particular pool. Indeed, Egypt also with a big victory. If they can dare to dream against Germany, then they could also conceivably make it through to the next round. But Belgium at the moment, best placed. They'll be facing Pakistan tomorrow in the match which will push back at 4 p.m. local time. Pool B has been decided. In fact, it was decided before the day began. And all matches indeed have been played there. So Australia topping it with 3 wins out of 3 and an outstanding goal difference of 7. France finishing second with 6 points. So Australia will be facing the team which finishes second in Pool A in the quarterfinals, while France will be playing the Pool A toppers. Pool C is one which Indian viewers will watch with a lot of interest, because tomorrow in a virtual knockout, Korea will be taking on India. Korea better placed, so a draw will suit them fine. India must win that particular encounter, and Netherlands will be facing Canada in the third and second last match of the day. And we are, of course, in Pool D. This is where we are at. Malaysia have gone through outstanding performance from the Asians, going up to 9 points from 3 with 3 victories out of 3. England will be disappointed. Just 1 draw to show for their efforts, but they're not out of contention for a place in amongst the third in this pool, because New Zealand can lose by a big margin, and that will propel England through to third spot. Still everything to play for though, Cedric, and that's what should make for a fascinating second 35 minutes here at the Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium.
Well, I think New Zealand has to come with its guns blazing. They need to get the victory here. South Africa needs to get a draw. South Africa has had much more of the game so far. You know, the circle penetrations have been a little more. Shots at goal have been 2. But I think from both teams, they need to do one thing which is critical for both of them. One is to get possession in the enemy half and to win the battle, the 1 versus 1 situations there, as well as to switch the game and fire the long balls inside.
South Africans coming out, picking their sticks up from that little bin which keeps all the sticks in there. This has been a fantastic event. We have been receiving a lot of feedback as well from all of you, and do keep it going. That's the hashtag HJWC, and the Twitter handle to follow, FIH_hockey. We are also on Facebook at FI Hockey, and we are also on Instagram. So do come to the matches. And Sanjay Lala at the moment will have to just sit for a little more while. Unfortunately, he won't have a mobile phone with him. I'm sure otherwise he might have been tempted to send an Instagram. But he'll be quite pleased if his team can perform without him and get the opening goal in this encounter. The fans of South Africa, just like the fans of every country, have been outstanding. It's been a splendid performance from the fans. They have been the team of the Hero Junior World Cup for me so far. It is the South Africans who will get things moving in just a short while from now. Just about 15 seconds to go. We do like doing everything by the clock, don't we? This time around, South Africa in green will be going from left to right, and defending their goal on the right will be the Black Sticks, not surprisingly, all in black. It's been a good committed effort from both teams, but a lot more will be required, and just that one moment of magic would just not only open up the scoreline, but also open up this game as a contest.
Well, you know, there seems to be a slight difference in the formations of South Africa and New Zealand. South Africa playing with the traditional 3-4-3, whereas New Zealand playing with the 4-4-2 formation.
Possession given away for the first time in the second half. Let's see the intent in the New Zealand movement. Going forward quite usefully, Michael Ritchie, who's had a good game. Couple of feet in there, and they do get a penalty corner for their efforts. Good start from New Zealand, because now it brings the big man, Kane Russell, yet again into the equation.
A grand start by New Zealand in the first 35 seconds, and a great run by the New Zealand striker.
Off the feet of the captain, Dylan Swan-Cole, and he'll now be amongst those defenders, I'd imagine, looking to try and stop what should be a searing shot coming in from the man in the center of our picture. Something about Kiwis with the name Russell, something very gladiatorial about them. Of course, no relation of Russell Crowe, and only 21 years of age, but an outstanding player already. Just not found his mojo yet tonight.
Well, he actually slipped on the follow through. The flick wasn't as strong as what he normally does, you know. I think the injection is coming as fast as it should come out. See, he's there, and then he loses his footing basically, and a great save by the South African defense.
Perhaps just a little touch of physical tiredness also coming in, although one wouldn't say that at all, looking at the way Malaysia performed earlier today. All the teams in Pool D, just like those in Pool B, also playing back-to-back days effectively today. And effectively the third day inside 4 days. South Africa with this free hit in a useful position. Mohammad Mia sends in a dangerous ball. Just couldn't bring it under control. Andrew Manson was in a good position. And then the follow-up is slightly wavered.
Little more purpose again by South Africa, looking for the long balls inside.
Just from a neutral's perspective, you want a goal in this match and early on in the second half, because that will really energize both teams. And ideally, if New Zealand can get one, not pulling for any team, but just looking at the way the pool is placed, then that will mean that South Africa will need to come out and look for at least a goal to make their place secure. However, at the moment it's South Africa on the move, and they have got this chance now, because Matthew Brown is very much on the pitch and he'll be looking to have a go. The New Zealand players are contesting it, but I don't think they've put in a formal referral at all.
Well, they're contesting it, basically saying that the South African player lifted the ball just above the knee, and it was dangerous play. And look at it now. He's moving towards the circle. He lifts the ball slightly, and then the New Zealand player taps the ball dangerously, and a penalty foul reverses that.
I've just never seen much conviction about the way that they were protesting it. It seemed more out of frustration than anything else. There's that stick check by Moore, just inside. Kane Russell has had a bit of an off day thus far. Will it be any better for Matthew Brown? Spectacular conversion yesterday against Malaysia. Can he follow up with one today against New Zealand? Oh, that's outstanding, but a brilliant save. Double save, in fact. Great teamwork from New Zealand. Ben Smith, the goalkeeper, and getting some support from his defense as well.
Well, it was a great flick, and if you look at it, an absolute blinding save. Ball ricochets off the bar, and the New Zealand defense did very well to take the ball away. Lala did beautifully to take the ball away, and into safety.
Full credit to Kane Russell, who was right by the side of Ben Smith. Also got his stick in there. Might have been a combined effort. Definitely got the ball out of harm's way quite effectively. And then the final touch coming from Sanjay Lala. That's the way to do it. And this is the commitment now, moving forward immediately after that save. Kane Russell. Swan Cole will need to give a little bit of breathing space here for Kane Russell, but slightly brighter from the Kiwis. There's always also a sense of trans-Tasman rivalry, so with Australia having done as well, the New Zealand fans will, more than anything else, be hoping that they can make it through to the quarterfinals to join their neighbours. Now this is a great opportunity, but oh, just recovering in time. That was tense.
Ball fired into the circle. It goes through the legs of the South African defender, but what he does well is he stays low and makes the New Zealand player make a foul against him and keep possession of the ball in a dangerous zone in the circle.
Yes, the man attacking was Nick Elder, and the man doing the defensive duties there was Chad Cairns-Cross. Seems to impress with each and every outing. Just 20 years of age. Already looks like a bright prospect in future for South African hockey. South Africa, of course, ranked 12th, their senior men in the FIH rankings. New Zealand comparatively better placed 7th and have been on a rapid upswing in recent years. Could their fortunes be on the upswing now? This is a great opportunity. Panchia is very close to the action. They have got a penalty corner. Just coming off the foot of Mohammad Mayer.
A great run by the New Zealand striker. He feints to hit the ball. Puncher gets the ball, flicks it towards goal. And what he does, the goalkeeper does, is he slaps the ball onto the foot of the New Zealand player and over the knee, and there's a penalty corner.
Yes, Richard Curtis has been quite outstanding in goal, but this time just a small lapse in judgment. But how crucial could it turn out to be? We have mentioned before, the penalty corner specialists haven't really fired as yet. Could this be the moment for Kane Russell? Yes, it is! Russell slaps it home and slaps New Zealand ahead. Exactly the kind of result that Grant Edwards would have wanted for his team to get ahead in this particular fixture.
When you look at the penalty corner, Kane Russell puts the ball very neatly against on the left-hand side. The goalkeeper dives on that ball, deflects it, but I can say that the man on the line should have got that ball because he was in line with the ball and he should have been able to get that ball.
Yes, finally a little bit of relief. Initially seemed a little unsure about how to react. I think also because it was hit with such power, wasn't really sure if it had got in, but nevertheless, 44th minute strike, penalty corner conversion yet again for Kane Russell. Takes his goal tally in this Hero Junior World Cup up to 4. All of them penalty corner conversions. Such a vital ingredient to have in your team, isn't it? Especially when you've not been really scoring field goals. Then to have a man who can keep putting it away is such a huge asset for any coach.
Well, you know, Divan, you said that you wanted New Zealand to score first goal and then South Africa to come back firing all cylinders. You look at, there's an urgency in their step, there's a spring in their step. They're really fighting for it now. Although just the goal has happened about a couple of seconds ago, they are. You look at it, there's more commitment. Everybody's running now in that short time since they conceded the goal.
Well, I don't know how many of our viewers are sitting with pen and paper, but we can keep helping them with a virtual points table. So as of now, with this scoreline on the virtual points table, New Zealand are ahead. They are on 4 points. So they are going through for a date with the toppers of Pool C, which could well be Netherlands, but that won't matter really. Getting through to the quarterfinals will be the first aim. And this is the urgency which Cedric D'Souza talks about. South Africa moving forward, but there must be some method to the madness. There's still a lot of time left, close to 25 minutes. A bit of organization can help them, but here come New Zealand once again. Number 10 is Matt Rees-Gibbs. Looking to get some support from Richie. Here's Panchia. McIntyre. Sweeping it through. Brown can't quite keep control, so just a little bit of slackness in defending coming in, which could cost South Africa there. They don't want to go 2 goals down in this situation, Cedric.
Well, you know, the New Zealand players are asking for a penalty corner because the goalkeeper patted the ball, but he pats the ball over the heads of everybody else, and there's no danger at all to any of the players, so there's no penalty corner given. Must also mention here that the ball lifted onto your own player is not dangerous. Ball lifted to the opposition is dangerous. So this is something that the viewers must understand.
It's a fast game, it's a hard game, but there are some intricacies of rules which experts do keep explaining as often as they can as it goes along. One thing you can explain is that this man is quite special, isn't he? Kane Russell, good defender, and boy can he whack those penalty corners.
Well, the penalty corner was a really nice one, because if you look at it, number 2 of South Africa, the captain skipper Dillon, should have got that ball on the line. He had his mask on, he was protected well enough, and he could have deflected the ball out of the goal. But the power of Kane Russell's flick was incredible.
And just a while ago, almost falling quite favorably. They've asked for a better chance, actually. couldn't finish it off. Nicholas Woods. Here come New Zealand. They're definitely getting a lion's share of possession, but giving the ball away. South Africa have a chance to build on something of their own. Well intercepted. Commitment levels for both teams have been quite remarkable. Not surprising considering what's at stake. And here's a penalty corner now for South Africa. Just deflecting onto his body, and yet another error from Sanjay Lala. Just unable to trap it cleanly, and that gives another little opening for the South Africans to try and exploit.
Yeah, so far going at 50-50 ball for both players. The ball deflects on Sanjay Lala's always stick onto his body in a penalty corner. Goes off his own stick onto his body in a penalty corner.
Don't worry, man. It could still be saved. What a fabulous event this has been. Just a while ago, after the Malaysia-England game got over, just coming back through the tunnel. We'll talk about that in a bit. Outstanding spirit between the teams. Even though England were defeated, they were sporting a smile. They were wishing the Malaysians well. Met the South Africans and the New Zealanders on their way out. All teams coming out of a common area where they have their dressing rooms. But who will be smiling after this? The push-in will be affected by the captain, as always, Dylan Swan-Pole. Two men at the top of the D. One of them is Matthew Brown. Looking for a deflection, and it wasn't too far away. Oh, outstanding work from South Africa, just like the finishing touch. All action stations at the moment.
Well, a very good variation of penalty corner. A deflection ball actually. Ball played inside. The first man diving for the deflection. It hits, just goes off, just goes out. I think it hits the bar and goes out. No, straight out, all the way.
This outstanding run, good run from Grant Glutz, and a little bit of despair for the support staff of South Africa, but they're still very much in this contest. 20 minutes in it. One goal will bring them back on level terms, but more importantly will push them up to 4 points and push New Zealand down to just 2. And that will mean that South Africa will book their place in the quarterfinals. So this is what you can expect also on the last day. 4 incredible matches there. Germany against Egypt at 2 p.m. Belgium against Pakistan at 4 p.m. Netherlands against Canada at 6 p.m. And make sure you keep yourselves free for the last one. India against Korea at 8 p.m. That is sure to jangle a few nerves, Cedric, not least of all in the commentary box.
Well, you know, India's got a reputation of being one of the favourites basically in this tournament, and there's a lot of pressure on them because they have to win this match against Korea. Korea, on the other hand, have just to draw the match.
There's a box there, mate. There's a box. Just
Dylan Swan-Pole, captain of South Africa, has been working quite hard this evening, but no rewards to show for it. And now really it's bringing that desperate miss from Damien Kimfley into the perspective. And he scored at that stage. South Africa would have been 1 goal ahead. Would have been a lot more pressure at this stage at New Zealand, but still, well, let's just say the horse hasn't bolted yet. Although the barn door is opening just a little bit. This is that miss in the first half. How often have you seen that, Cedric? Having said that, it is a sport. Sometimes things do go wrong.
Well, you know, you don't often see that kind of misses, but what I say is that for the team, it must have been devastating for the team to have this kind of a miss in the first minute of the game itself. And now they're a goal down, so it makes it even feel worse, you know.
As early stages, a lead would have served them in good stead, but they have every opportunity of coming back, and they have shown in this competition already. Showed that against England, showed a lot of resolve in coming back. We're going to win that match 2-1. Fair to say this thus far has been the most entertaining of the pools. All 4 teams have been pretty evenly matched, and Malaysia have even surprised themselves by topping it.
Well, most of the teams in this competition have an equal standing, equal footing. And if you look at the game in this pool, all the teams are basically the same. There are no firm favourites to top the pool. And Malaysia, of course, has played some outstanding hockey to top it all the way. And the rest of the three have really fought to get a second position.
South Africa with a few errors creeping into their defense. They are currently a man down. Taylor Dart has had to be sent out because of a green card suspension. Couple of minutes, cooling himself with a little bit of water. But more importantly, his team with a man disadvantage for that period of 2 minutes. Not what you want to be doing when you are trailing by 1 goal and need that 1 goal to make sure of your advancement in terms of reaching the quarterfinals of the Hero Hockey Junior World Cup. Hit with a lot of hope by Hazlett, but no problems at all. South Africa in need of regrouping. 10 against 11 at the moment. Jared Panchia looks like quite a tricky player. Working his way through. Oh, this is a great position, and it's a penalty corner as well. Very, very smartly done by the Kiwis. Realized that the angle was too acute and exploited it to get a penalty corner for their team.
Panchia did a great job. He got the ball and he got moved over the baseline, and he was tripped by the South African defender on a penalty corner. The advantage was played, but since they didn't have any advantage, but no goal bound shot was given, so the penalty corner was given, ensured.
Some excellent hockey and some excellent officiating, and that should make for some pressure once again to be borne on the South African goal. Richard Curtis will be tested by this man if there's a good clean trap. Here goes Russell, and he slaps it towards goal, but not quite on target this time around. Incredible pace in the second half.
Incredible penalty corner flick, it was a beautiful flick and a great save by the keeper, because it was right deep in the corner. And in fact, I was just saying to myself, he flicks the ball in the right down, he's probably going to get a goal. Keeper came out with an outstanding save.
Tells you about the depth of quality in the goalkeeping ranks for South Africa. Richard Curtis can afford to start this match in spite of an outstanding game last night for René de la Paire. Mind you, they did end up losing that particular game. So with Curtis on board, they did beat England. South Africa moving forward. This time, there's been a referral. Heather Rasool did signal for a penalty corner.
You're saying it hit the stick, not the foot.
But Panchia says that the ball hit his stick instead of hitting his foot.
From the question, I'm checking that it was the stick and not a foot. Checking that now. Okay.
And in the hot seat is Bruce Bale. Let's see what evidence he has to work with. Absolutely perfectly spotted.
Yes. I have a decision for you. It's a long corner. New Zealand keeps their referral. Okay.
Yes, he knew exactly what he was doing, Panchia. And they do well to get the pressure away as well.
Well, he's a regular in the national team, with his men's national team. He, Kane Russell, and George Mead, all three of them play in the national team. So they expect at this level of hockey, he's got to be showing his class.
And it's interesting that all three men have pulled their weight. Certainly Kane Russell with those penalty corner conversions. Jared Panchia with his work rate, both in defense as well as moving forward. It's one thing that one can never begrudge this Kiwi team. They're always full of work rate, and they might just get their just reward this evening. moving ahead yet again in good numbers too. Jeremy Morris. Denied by some stout defending. This time though it's been sent in and it wasn't too far away from Kingston. Benedict Khan Okram in there as well. Lots and lots of black shirts waiting for this. New Zealand, of course, also realized that it will only take one goal for South Africa to dash their hopes. So that's why the urgency to try and go for a second goal. Fascinating battle of wits on at the moment at the Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium. Historic venue which has seen some high-quality hockey, and this is as good as any. Waits for it and then pushes off. Ross Hetham looking for some support. Does get a foot just outside the D. Possession given away. Van Bokum is a very, very hard-working New Zealand player, and that's why he's used a lot in terms of rotation. He's going on and off the field. Well, they can smell that quarter-final spot, but Cedric, if you were in the shoes of Darrell and Gallagher at this stage, what would you be telling your team? You need that one goal. How do you get it in these last 12 minutes?
I think I'd push more people up into attack, especially in the last quarter. I would put, instead of having one, I would have 2 or 3 right up on the baseline, and get the midfielders to move up also, and then use the switch ball from left to right, or vice versa, to hit the balls through. The important thing is to switch at a very fast pace. If the ball is switched slowly, New Zealand, being as hard runners that they are, will close on the spaces.
And it's quite, I suppose it's not surprising, but your prophecies have come true thus far, coach. Because you did talk about the fact that New Zealand are slow starters, but slowly they're getting those numbers in their favor. One circle penetration more and one shot more, which has been crucial because that is the one which led to the goal. Oh, and this time looking for yet another deflection inside the D, not too far away. Richard Curtis has been a marked man this evening. Coming forward once again with Morris and Rhys Gibbs. Good entertaining phase of play and good dominant display at the moment by New Zealand. This was swept through and it wasn't very far from Elder.
Yeah, but Elder was very marked very well by Mia Mohammed.
If they do lose by this particular scoreline here, then South Africa will finish third nevertheless. In fact, any kind of a defeat will consign them to the third position ahead of England. That will mean that the best that they can finish in this competition will be 9th. There's still some time left, just about 10 minutes left on the clock as New Zealand pull away yet again for another attack, prospective attack. Radanovic.
New Zealand know they've got a goal up and they're just playing with 2 strikers now, 4 in the midfield and 4 in the defense. You look at it, if you look at this field, everybody's caught man to man. All the South Africans have been caught man to man.
And still pressing forward every time the South Africans get the ball. Outstanding work rate, that's what helps them recover this ball. Here comes Radovonic once again, looking for a reverse shot. Wasn't too far away from that, but outstanding defending as well to make sure that Michael Ritchie never got into harm's way. Kingston wins a long corner for his team. Dylan Swan-Paul has been doing well in defense. for some support from the umpire, but unable to get that. But this has been a good, bright bit of play from the New Zealanders.
Well, they're forcing their way into the circle as much as possible. Swampole is great to get, he's a tall bloke, and he puts his stick down flat and gets that ball.
This time around, pulled up for that challenge. The man who was doing the defensive duties was Daniel Bell, the other centre-back that they have. Right there on the screens. Perspiration quite evident on both teams. They have put in quite a bit of hard yards. New Zealand will think that they have come this far. They don't want to concede from here on, that's for sure. But just to remind you, that is the situation as it stands. South Africa need that one goal. If they get that one goal, then they are through to the quarterfinals. If New Zealand can keep this score or better it, then it's going to be New Zealand versus whoever tops Pool C. In all likelihood, Netherlands in the quarterfinals, which will be played after a day's break and play on Wednesday. So the matches will be placed on Thursday. Needless to mention, not only the first break for the players, but also for our entire crew, and all of us will eagerly look forward to it too. A little bit of sleep to catch up on, Cedric. Well, he's really excited, isn't he? He's been the most animated right from the time the anthems were sung. A lot of emotion on his face. He's ready to party all night. So the rest of them actually. Brown has been working hard this evening, but no rewards. This time a long ball which nearly found its mark, although he was falling away. Keenan Horn unable to hold it back. Panchia can't find his man. Here's Mohammad Mir getting some support from Kane. Cross beautifully won by Kane Russell. Look at that. Great work to get it past a couple of men and also find a through ball. Outstanding work from the Kiwis, looking for the penalty corner. Have they found the foot? Yes, they have.
Well, now trying to Kane Russell first to steals the ball in his own 25-yard line, play the delightful pass to his midfielder. They play the through ball all the way down, picked up in the circle, and from the baseline, a penalty corner ensured from there.
There's Russell, and this was a move down the left, which eventually found its way across to Van Bokrum, just hitting it onto the foot of the defensive player Daniel Bell.
Daniel Bell made the first cardinal mistake of throwing his stick before and not protecting his feet, and that's where, at that level of hockey you don't make those mistakes. And you give a chance to Kane Russell to double his lead, and New Zealand's lead.
Considering how tight this match has been, you get the impression if New Zealand laugh here, they will laugh last, and they will laugh loud. Russell, but it's straight at Curtis. He does exceedingly well. Not only to stop it, but also to divert it away from the path of the on-rushing players.
When you look at the flick, it's a nice, powerful flick, but it's straight on the goalkeepers. It's right in the middle. So all he had to do was move his arm around, and it was a great save because he wouldn't let the ball rebound back into the field of play. He palmed the ball away from the on-rushing New Zealand players.
And South Africa still have that lifeline of if they do score within the last 4 minutes, then they'll still be going through. So that's how dramatic it has been, this Pool D. And that's how Pool A as well as Pool C are expected to be as well. Those matches tomorrow. quick reminder, Germany against Egypt, Belgium against Pakistan, Netherlands against Canada, and then the big one, India against Korea. The big one simply because it's the simple equation of whoever wins goes through. Much like what's happened today. But at the moment, it's about South Africa moving forward. Possibly for one final burst, one final flourish. Cedric, at this stage, would you consider keeping the goalkeeper off and replacing him with an outfield player?
Definitely.
Certainly appeared to be an infringement from the defensive player, Daniel Bell. And that's allowed this free hit to go to New Zealand. Fans are beginning to feel it. The players are too. Less than 3 minutes now. Just hitting the foot. New Zealand, of course, got up to the semi-finals in the last edition. 2009, finished 4th eventually. Lost to Netherlands 4-1, and a little bit of despair now visible in the South African ranks. Ben Smith has been outstanding in goal. Quite a few occasions when he's elected well, come out well, and cleared his lines and supported his defenders well. This will be an occasion when he'll let it pass through. Not over yet, Cedric, but on the whole, a good hard-working performance from the Kiwis.
Well, it's a hard-working performance of both teams, especially with the Kiwis, because they're 1 goal up. They started very slowly, but South Africans were really strong in the first couple of minutes, but the Kiwis have come back into the game. This has been their trademark in this tournament, coming back from goals down or from not winning positions.
That'll be a card. That'll help the South African cause. And they make the most of it though. 90 seconds, just about 90 seconds left. It'll have to be swift and it'll have to be decisive. Here's a chance, but good scrambling defending. Saving the day. It's that man again. Jared Puncher. This time around, it's been picked up by Jeremy Morris. Looking to run the clock down as well. Oh, that's a good pass. And Radovonic believed that there was a problem there. Missing the services for one of their players, but that won't mind too much because it's less than 60 seconds now. Cedric, celebrations in the air. The Kiwis look like they're going through.
Well, a great performance by the Kiwis, who didn't give them a chance after, the first 2 matches.
Little touch of disappointment at the other side, but New Zealand carrying on from the good work of 2009. That team had the likes of Nick Wilson, who was eventually player of the tournament. They had Simon Child. So some players who went on to serve New Zealand hockey, the senior team, with flying colours. And these young boys are looking to follow in their footsteps.
But New Zealand, all credit to New Zealand players for doing so well in this tournament.
Lots of emotion on display at the National Stadium. Grant Edwards, the coach, is overjoyed. The South Africans are distraught because they got so close, but they missed out on that early opportunity that Cedric D'Souza talked about. And that has led to this particular final scoreline. It's finished South Africa 0, New Zealand 1. So New Zealand winning this match, and that has meant that they will finish second in this Pool D. Who would have thought that? Malaysia first, New Zealand second, and South Africa, after starting so well, beating England, find themselves now forced to play for the consolation of the best of a 9th and the worst of a 12th position, while England will have to settle for somewhere between positions 13 to 16. Lots and lots of celebrations and good spirits from the two teams. Some good sportsmanship on display, as has been the case right through this Hero Hockey Junior World Cup. South Africa had their chances too. This was in the second half, and Kane Russell with the moment that mattered, smacking it through. And as Cedric did point out, Dylan Swampole, the postman, should have perhaps done better because it was heading straight towards him, just flinching a little bit and unable to cover the angle past the goalkeeper. There were some great opportunities still for New Zealand. This was an attempt at a variation and coming very close to scoring. And then another great shot from Kane Russell, which was beautifully saved by Richard Curtis. And yet another penalty corner, yet another shot from Kane Russell, yet another save from Richard Curtis. It was the recurrent theme of the second half. And finally, these celebratory shots indicating that New Zealand have made it through to the last 8. So Grant Edwards is celebrating and congratulating his boys on a job well done, because New Zealand are through to the quarterfinals of the Hero Hockey Junior World Cup 2013. Joy at one end, there will always be disappointment at the other, and spare a thought for the South Africans. It has been a very, very emotional week for them, and we'll just talk about all of that. But for the moment, we are all set for the post-match presentation. Take it away, Charlie Broom.
Thank you very much. Welcome to the Hero Player of the Match presentation. I'm delighted to say I've been joined by Martin Gallivan, who's competitions manager for the International Hockey Federation, and he is going to present the Hero Player of the Match trophy to Kane Russell from New Zealand. Well, Kane just has his photograph taken. Now, if I could have a quick word with you, Kane. Coming into this one, you knew you had to win. And you did, but it was a very tight game.
Yeah, we certainly didn't make it easy for ourselves. You know, South Africa's a good team. They're physical, they're fast, they're fit. We knew it was going to be tough, and we just stuck to it. We stuck to our game plan. We didn't come out too well, but we got in there in the second half, and thankfully we brought it home.
Pool D has been very, very tight. All the games, apart from apart from the draw with you England last night and England's game today, all decided by 1 goal.
Yeah, that's right. Just shows how tough this tournament is. You know, there's. All pools have been pretty close, and whether it's first place, second place, or 15th place and 16th place, they're all tough games.
And from the top of the circle, you're pretty lethal. 4 penalty corners for you now. That's a good weapon for your team to have.
Yeah, it's handy. You know, sort of we struggled to score some field goals, so luckily we've had that, and it's got us into the top 8.
Well, listen, Kane, many congratulations on a great win tonight, and best of luck for the quarterfinals.
And just a shout out to the 2 boys that are sick, with Dally Belly, Sam McSkimming, and Nick Woods. We've done this for you boys.
Well, there you go. We hope they get better soon. Thanks, Kane.
Well, they will feel a lot better, I'm sure, after looking at these match stats, which are overwhelmingly in favour of New Zealand. 1 goal to nil, 5 shots against 2. So the numbers tell you that it was a very, very tight match, and that's indicated by the final scoreline as well. So the 1 goal which separates New Zealand from South Africa, but that's the goal which matters and has taken New Zealand through to the quarterfinals. So what does that mean? That effectively means that in Pool D, Malaysia are first and New Zealand have finished second. What a courageous performance to come down from 1 defeat and then going 2-0 down in the second match at halftime against England, and to come back and salvage 4 points and finish ahead of South Africa and England, 2 quality teams, tells you about the fighting resolve in this New Zealand side. It's not over yet though. Tomorrow is the last day of group matches, and we have some slobber knockers for you. Pool A, 2 p.m, Germany against Egypt. Pool A again at 4 p.m, Belgium against Pakistan. All to play for in those 2 matches, particularly the second one for Pakistan in particular. Then Pool C, 6 p.m. Netherlands versus Canada, which might be a little bit of a one-sided contest with all due respect to Canada. But after that at 8 p.m, the big one, India against Korea. Well, we do hope you will join us for these huge matches in the Hero Junior World Cup tomorrow. It's goodbye for now from all of us here.